President Trump's aggressive cuts to the federal government are tied up in court again as a pair of judges ruled the administration must temporarily reinstate thousands of fired probationary employees. So let's discuss that and more with Republican Congressman Pete Sessions of Texas. He sits on the House Oversight Committee and is a co-chair of the DOJ caucus. Congressman, welcome back to the show. We appreciate you coming back to answer our questions. So I want to start with this latest ruling. One of these judges called the administration's cuts a sham. And I'm curious what you think. Is this a sign that Trump and DOJ need to be more careful in the way they're operating?
I would take that as a senior member of Congress that obviously we're involved in tough negotiation, not only with the federal government and its employees, but also with the judiciary now. The judiciary does have a role, and that is to rule on the law. And the law is, as we recall, President Trump was very magnanimous and offered any employee that would choose not to come back after literally 4 years to offer a buyout. And that was seen by unions as a threat against their literally existence. And so when the president was stopped from that, he still has a mandate in his mind to reduce government spending and said in his mind, fine, if those employees are going to stay, then we do not need the other employees that have not matured to a year. So literally, we can't have it two ways. It's got to be one way. And so if the federal government recognizes that there may be some 100,000 employees that would wish to leave, then we need to move on that. There needs to be clear direction, and it's a muddied pathway, and I know that.
What do you mean by that? There needs to be clear direction. And just to better understand what you're saying, are you saying that the Trump administration needs to provide clearer direction, and so far that hasn't really been the case?
Well, what I'm saying is that if there are employees that do not wish to come back and to leave, then that needs to be a very clear signal. I think that that's still mired up in court right now. I don't know, even though even though the feeling is that it's at a tie right now, that needs to be resolved. We need to know what the head count will be. We need to know who will come to work and who wants to leave. And that's where the president pivoted, as he did 3 weeks ago when he was challenged on his point of offering employees, just like I had, you've heard me say lots of times at AT&T, if there's a change that takes place, try and be good to the employees. President Trump tried to do that. Now, I think he's stuck somewhere between both of those ideas.
Right. And just to be clear, what we're talking about here are the mass firings of the probationary employees, including veterans. And you've seen some veterans, speak up in some of these town halls. They're upset the way that this is going on. Just to take a step back, Americans generally support cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. A majority just doesn't like the way Elon Musk is doing it. When you look at the polls, only 35% view Musk favorably. This is according to a CNN poll, to be clear. Are you at all concerned that Elon Musk is jeopardizing the president's agenda? I know you've had your own town hall, and there were concerns there.
What I am concerned about is that we go to the point that the president made, and that is the secretaries of the agencies and the heads of the department will make these decisions. What you and I are in reference to is, are some 100,000 employees going to stay, or are they going to not come to work? The president needs to know which it's going to be. Is it going to be the 100,000 leave? And in that case, he would then need all these other employees. And he's stuck in between a never land right now. And that's what I think the president's trying to do between the court battles and between the American people. I don't like it at all that people who were newly hired, had a job, made decisions about their family, made decisions about their future. But this is being played out as hardball, just as it is today in Washington, about whether there will be funding the government. We're funding the government at the same level that we did last year. To hear the hysterical call that we're going to take and rip people out of their homes and make them poor and not create a circumstance where the government would do its job is being held hostage not by Republicans. And so I think we need to get to the point where we can honestly look at each other and say, work with the president. If 100,000 people don't want to come to work, I'm sure he would keep these other employees. But that's not the option right now. We need to move to where we deal with each other honestly. That's why you're on this show, and me too.
Right, and just to present the Democrat side, we just had a Democratic Congresswoman on saying, look, the CR, you know, the argument isn't what has been done in the past. There are cuts to federal domestic programs that Democrats are concerned with, and they say that they were left out of the negotiating. But just to follow up, I want to really stick with this on DOJ, because you are a member of oversight, and there are real questions, and you're also the co-chair of the DOJ caucus. There are real questions about accountability for so many of these government agencies now that inspector generals were fired. I mean, who is the watchdog now for all of these agencies? As a member of oversight, how concerned are you that there is essentially no inspector general in a lot of these agencies? And when I talked to you last month, you said you would ask for more data and information from DOJ about the privacy and national security issues raised by their work. Did you receive those documents from DOJ?
In fact, I have, and let me go to it because I am the chairman, the subcommittee chairman of government operations. I'll go to the first point that you were asking about, the inspector generals. Some 19 inspector generals were let go. They still have 10,000 employees between them all. They still go to work every day. They are mature employees who know what their job is. It is not unusual, just like every U.S. attorney around the country left because they were political appointees, so were IGs. So the organizations are still working. They still have their mission. They look every day at their mission statement on the wall, and I have no doubt that the IGs, just like GAO has a mission statement, GAO has to operate and does operate with the people who come and see sensitive data, and they have to sign non-disclosures, and they have to do the things that would be in line with a government employee or someone who is brought in. Elon Musk spends his time, as you've learned over the last couple weeks, trying to get the astronauts back from space. That's what he's spending his time with. Sure, he shows up and goes for photo opportunities. By the way, we do those kinds of things occasionally. Elon Musk is a busy guy. It is being run by Russ Vought, who is the head of OMB, and will tell you that we have confidence that he has a plan and knowledge about where he's trying to take us. When I came home yesterday, I learned, maybe for the first time, that there are tens of millions of dollars that have not been paid through providers for the VA. And so there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We do need employees.
Okay. Congressman, unfortunately, we have to go. And when you come back on, I'd like to talk about the documents you did receive from DOJ. We didn't get a chance to talk about that.
Great.
Thank you for your time. We'll be right back.